For today's vlog, I'm talking about the Sony E-mount 55-210mm telephoto lens, and specifically how it does in video, because I usually shoot in video. I shot B-roll earlier yesterday downtown to kind of test the lens as far as video goes. So let's cut to the B-roll sequence and then I'll talk about the lens. So as usual, for the start of this review, we're gonna go over what the lens comes with. It comes with front and rear lens caps and a lens hood, all of which are necessities for a lens, and it's nice that it comes with it so that you don't need to buy any of them separate. This lens is made for Sony E-mount cameras with APS-C sensors. I use mine on the Sony a6000. It also works for the a6300, 6400, 6500. It's a 55-210mm lens with the 1.5 times crop factor. However, for the APS-C sensor, the lens is the equivalent of a 82.5 to 315mm lens on a full frame camera, which is very important because that's much more telephoto than it sounds like when you say 55-210. The widest aperture you can shoot with this lens is f4.5, which is not very fast. As you zoom out to the 210mm focal length, the aperture drops down to f6.3, which is even slower. So not a very fast lens. The minimum aperture is f22 and f32 when you're zoomed all the way in. The minimum focus distance for this lens is 3.28 feet, so very far away. It is not made for close-up shots. Comes in two versions, one with optical steady shot, one without. The one that I am reviewing today is the one with optical steady shot. Two final things: it has a manual zoom ring and it also has a focus ring. The aperture is circular as well, which is a plus. Why don't you go first? We're eating emergency dry. I've only done this once and I almost spat it all over the airplane, so I'm not really confident about this. Wow. The hard part is that it like expands. I don't know how to counteract that.
Under your tongue. Under your tongue.
Under your tongue.
Under your tongue.
Okay. We're gonna try the under the tongue technique. Oh my gosh. That was a close call.
You need a little practice.
Look at this hotel room. So now for some thoughts on shooting with the lens. First off, your style. Your style really has to change with shooting with this lens, and I like shooting with this 55-210 because it's a great exercise. It actually forces you to change your shooting style. What I mean by that is you cannot shoot those wide landscape shots that you can shoot with this 16-50mm lens that I'm shooting with right now. For example, the broadest focal length you get is 55mm, which is in fact equivalent to 82.5mm on a full frame camera, so very cropped in. I think it's got a 29-degree field of view, so very narrow. It forces you to focus more on the little minute details. For example, the B-roll that I got of the water drops falling onto the sidewalk. That's a perfect example of the tiny details that you can pick out that the 55-210mm lens can capture that this lens cannot. Another point I want to make is that I didn't bring the gimbal on this shoot because I want you to be able to see that camera shake is a big deal when using a lens with a long focal length. The longer the focal length, the more steady you have to hold the camera, which means holding it closer to your body, keeping your elbows in, and just keeping that steady as possible. I did, however, go out with a Gorilla Pod attached to the bottom of my camera, and you'll be able to pick out the shots that I used handheld versus locked off shots on that Gorilla Pod. This is specific to the A6000. Having the 55-210 on the A6000, zooming all the way out to that 210mm focal length. The rolling shutter of the A6000 is very obvious. If you're panning too fast, if you're a little bit shaky, you see that rolling shutter and everything starts to look kind of wavy like jello. If you can bring up a tripod, monopod, any way to lock off your shots, that is a plus, and that's where this lens excels. So overall thoughts, I think this lens is great for B-roll. Like I said before, you can capture the tiny intricate details that you cannot capture with a lens that's not telephoto. It's a great bang for your buck. It is an old lens. It came out in 2011, but it's still great, and for the price, you get a great value on this lens. However, and this is a big however, it can't be the only lens that you bring. If you're only shooting B-roll, if you're a photographer and you have your shots lined up, you know what you're gonna shoot, then yes, this can be the only lens that you bring. But if you're shooting vlog style video like me, or if you're going out to shoot video and you're not 100% on what you need to shoot, it can't be your only lens because it's so narrow. You can't use it for vlogging. I tried to use it for vlogging downtown and this is how it looked. Okay guys, I'm out here shooting some B-roll and I'm holding the camera as far away to my face as I can with a Gorilla Pod, so I don't think this is gonna work. It's not an all-purpose lens. It's great at what it was made to do, which is to get nice, detailed telephoto shots. So that is it. Would I recommend this lens to a friend? If my friend had other more versatile lenses, you have to have a wide lens to accompany this. If my friend met those requirements, I would say absolutely. Clearly, it's not going to perform as well as other higher priced lenses, but if you're talking bang for your buck, this lens is amazing. I hope you enjoyed this review. As always, I know that I can't get to every single thing about this product in this short video. So anything I missed that you want me to go over, leave a comment below and I'll get right back to you. And yeah, we're in Vegas now.